Senate Bill 968. Imagine this. Imagine you are a medical resident training to become a podiatrist in Texas. Your hospital calls your license a temporary license, even though you are in a formal residency program with strict rules and timelines. Another doctor from out of state wants to teach at a Texas program, but finds the license category they would need no longer really fits how the system works. That confusion is what this bill addresses. What the bill says it does? Senate Bill 968 says it's updating podiatry licensing laws to reflect current practices and reduce confusion in how licenses are defined and issued. What it actually does? This means podiatry residents now receive a license that is clearly labeled as a residency license instead of a vague temporary one. This means two older license types, provisional license and limited faculty licenses, are removed entirely. This means more authority and rulemaking control is consolidated under the Department of Licensing and Regulation. Who benefits? Podiatry residents who get clear licensing status, practicing podiatrists who deal with simpler system, the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation, which no longer has to manage outdated licensing categories, professional podiatry organizations that wanted clear rules. Who pays the price? Out-of-state podiatrists who previously relied on provisional licenses to transition into Texas. Faculty members who once used limited licenses to teach while maintaining other professional roles, and anyone who benefited from having multiple entry paths into this profession. Why it matters. Licensing laws shape who can work, teach, and train in Texas. When license categories are removed, even quietly, the state narrows the pathway into a profession. That can reduce flexibility over time, especially as healthcare needs grow and rural areas struggle to recruit specialists and educators. When pathways disappear, the impact may not show up immediately. It often shows up years later as shortages, higher costs, or fewer options for communities that already have limited access to care. Questions to ask your lawmakers. How will the state track whether removing provisional and faculty licensing affects recruitment of podiatrists or educators, especially in rural areas? If workforce shortages emerge, would you support restoring alternative licensing pathways? What review process exists to make sure this streamlined system does not become too rigid over time? Bottom line, Senate Bill 968 clears up confusing language, but it also quietly narrows who can enter and teach in the podiatry profession, and that balance deserves continued oversight.